This is a social justice audit of Pathways Worldwide. In introduction, as Pathways Worldwide was established to serve the hidden many, we need to make sure that we are serving this vulnerable population that is undereducated with something that will lead to financial self-reliance. I performed a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and identified that our salaries for our female student attracting majors are much lower than the salaries we have for our male students. And although a lot of our setup is built for women to gain this education by being low cost and online, they aren't preparing them to be employed in a way that would be sustaining for themselves or their families if needed. So in our ethical code, it says financial self-reliance is going to prepare the hidden many to reach self-reliance in high-demand living wage occupations. Majors that do not offer this level of financial stability will be eliminated and replaced with higher wage earning degrees with overall offerings that attract both sexes. So we do need to remove and replace our two lowest performers. The stakeholders involved, failure to meet this policy will affect the student's financial future and those who are relying on them. It may also affect their trust. If they've earned a bachelor's degree from us and find they're making no more than they could have earned without that degree, it may leave them less than thrilled with how we've served them. And that will spread by word of mouth, I'm sure. So it may affect future enrollments. And so that means that we need to change those majors, but doing so will affect the students who are currently involved, and it will affect the staff and instructors supporting those current programs. And as we're changing it, it's going to affect the staff and supporting groups in the programs we choose to replace them with. From a historical context, the fact that these are weak majors makes sense. Back in the 1980s, most women within the LDS Church were homemakers. And although they were still more educated than their non-LDS counterparts, they spent most of their time within the home taking care of children. A lot fewer of them were actually employed full-time than the general population. In 1995, we had the Proclamation on the Family that introduced the idea that there might be times when individual adaptation was needed and women might need to go out into the workforce. And then in 2009, we created Pathways Worldwide. Our current prophet has really focused on the needs of women and acknowledged that over half the church population is single. So the world has changed a bit since the 80s. So the world that women are in right now, they're either homemakers who need to help support their families, so they need an employable job part-time that will bring in a reasonable salary, or they are supporting themselves or their families full-time, which means they need to make a decent full-time salary. So that means that majors of the past may not be the best choice right now. Looking at the social justice here, according to corporate social responsibility, we need to manage the impacts of our organization. And in this case, we are providing female students with low income to no direct income obtained from the degrees we're offering them. Based on historical statistics, many of these students will need to fully support or partially support their families. So providing underperforming majors will lead to them being underprepared to provide this support. So that's a breach of ethical responsibility on our part that needs to be addressed. Proposed solutions. We can direct those interested in social work to preparatory majors like communications or business, and then encourage them to get an MSW, which does make a living wage. Allied health would best be replaced with pre-health science degrees that stack, so that you're transferring out after 2 years for things like dental hygiene or nursing, things like that, and be able to do the full 4 years for people that want to transfer out for master's degrees or doctors or dentists, things like that. Those degrees would lead to things that were actually employable, and the degree itself, we should make a science degree that is employable just as a bachelor's degree, so that they can go into the health fields, which are very employable, but they can also support their families with just the bachelor's they're earning. The other majors offered at BYU and Ensign College should also be explored. See if there's something better than revamping the ones we currently have. That will also attract female students and lead to a higher salary, and the options to work full-time or part-time so that they cater to our actual female population. And then here are the references. Thank you.